didn't know
And
that.
he met that guy Allen he met, or no, he stole a lot of it away from his
Paul
partner.
Allen.
Partner.
Well,
No,
but
not
Paul
Paul
Allen
Allen,
is backing Interval though.
Right, so they...
Allen made a lot of money. He's
Yeah.
a nice. He's got Jimi Hendrix. I was told that Allen has a picture of me on his wall.
How nice.
Yeah.
How nice.
And he's got the Jimi Hendrix Museum.
Mm.
Oh.
Well, Alan started up a company called Interval that's in the Bay Area, and they're doing a lot of stuff.
I know about
Brenda's
that.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
They didn't ask me. I tried to get into that, but no.
That's terrible.
Well.
How come?
It's just personal rivalries, you know.
Yeah. I know.
This
I
is
know.
why I think it's going to be great for Ted to be in Japan for a year. Kind of, number one, they appreciate and understand. They want to understand every detail of his ideas.
Yeah, I was
There's
able.
no rivalry there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And there's this big teamwork kind of a deal.
So I've been allowed to give these 6-hour lectures and talk about all the connections in my work and everything else, and nobody will listen here. They published an interview with me back in 1990 in Tokyo, 10 pages of diagrams that they got out of the interview. Note, there's never been a diagram in any interview that anybody did in this country.
Yeah, everybody just wants
You
to...
should bring the diagram, though.
Yeah.
Well, he does provide things, but here they just want to look for the quirky little, houseboat experience and stuff. It's just not as in-depth
Yep.
appreciation.
Coco Khan is amazing.
She is.
It
By the way,
sounds
I want
like
to
her
get
work.
her address from you because I need to. We should send her an
She came
SBS.
at 4 and was here at 4 this morning.
Exactly.
And she spent 2 hours
She's
on the
great.
sofa reading the
For heaven's sake.
I showed her the big copy
Mhm.
original,
Hmm.
and she was reading it out loud.
Oh my.
Yeah,
Very small print.
Yes, it is right. That was one of my great vices.
He
Yeah,
still does it.
Yeah.
The newsletter.
We said, well, just read the headline, dear. And that's loaded with diagrams.
Oh yeah.
Great diagrams.
Thank you. Yep.
But,
Yep.
You got it. That's a multimedia book.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And Gates owns it now. Unfortunately, I just wish I could get it back.
How'd you get it?
Bought it. That was this deal Ditlia set up. But he's not selling it very well, so I'm gonna sniff around and ask him about buying it back. Yeah.
Yeah, Microsoft publishes it now.
He had a he still has a publishing company.
Yep.
His editor came down to see me in Wonderland a long time ago, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, and wanted to do a book deal with me, and
Mhm.
Gates turned it down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bill don't like guys like you and me.
Well, he likes me sort of at a distance, you know.
What's the problem?
Well, I don't. He doesn't want to back me because he doesn't get
That's
what.
what I mean.
Yeah. Right.
The idea
What do you mean
is
likes?
advised. Yeah,
Right, right.
yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah, I'm
He's-
sure they like to go out and
Yeah, exactly.
have fun with us.
But in terms of accepting the ideas
Right.
and really...
Well, it's an issue of paradigm. In other words, one of the things that's remarkable about the computer field is that there's so many different points of view, and it's all about whose point of view gets to control the others. In other words,
Give me an example of 3 points of view.
Okay. In my point of view, I wanted to have everything based on zippered lists and with no hierarchies. And that's from 1965. In Gates's point of view, it's the standard hierarchical directories. In Doug Engelbart's point of view, everything is done by linkages, but it's hierarchical and with a very limited publishing scheme. And the point is that you could build an operating system around any of those principles and then put the other ones under it. And every computer language incorporates a paradigm, and that means that because the ideas are so totally plastic, any one of them could be on top. So it's like territory is.
The top is absolutely gravitated.
But it comes back. It's exactly like territory.
reject it.
Yeah,
But it's what you have to deal with in the computer world. It's like you have to run Windows on top of DOS. You know, you can't. It's so. I mean, it would be nice if they could just all be side by side, because people have a right to their point of view and their paradigms.
And that
They don't have to be.
and the Xanadu
subjugated.
paradigm is that everything is side by side. But
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There was, in the last 6 months, there's been a concepts been bubbling up from physics. There are 4 basic paradigms or structures at the heart of the quantum. Where they are?
quark level.
Yeah, but structures.
Okay, no.
Okay. There's the web. There's the spiral.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There's the tunnel,
Hmm.
with the spiral going reverse, and the
Matrix.
we have cubes going. But these are four geometrical relationships
Hmm.
that are the basis of all.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So web, spiral, matrix, and something.
You ever heard that?
No. I was interested in some of the things that on the World Wide Web that you find when you browse is spectacular. One that I found, for example, was that supposedly when the temperature gets hot enough, everything becomes just a mixture of quarks and gluons. And that's at 15 million degrees Kelvin, which they take to have been the original state of the universe.
Oh.
Now, by the way, you really should speed up your Mac so you can do some decent exploration on World Wide Web. Would you like that software for the PC that we brought? Because you've got it on the Mac, but you don't have a fast connection. You want a 10 times faster connection.
3 people have guaranteed me that I'm going to get a high power Mac.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
good.
just right.
But make sure you get the World Wide Web, the Internet and Mosaic connection at the fastest possible, because it wasn't tolerable at the level you have there. But it's so exciting when you get decent feedback on that. Would you like to have a web page?
What does that mean?
That means you can put it's like
Excuse me.
Oh, yes.
Stop now. Oh, I should take over there. They're checking who's here, yeah. Can you see him?
Oh, it's so lovely. Well, it's past. Yeah. Yeah, he's
Where's the other
come
guy?
back.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, on World Wide Web, anyone can put up web pages, which is your own text and your own pictures, and anyone can make connections to them, hypertext connections, which I get credit for now, and then anyone in the world can follow the connections and take your stuff.
So what's an example of, like, what's your homepage
Well,
going to be?
my homepage will probably be just an ongoing bulletin board. I think I'll probably call it Ted Nelson's Hyperverse. How do you like that?
I love
Hyperverse.
it.
Yes.
All right.
And
Polyverse.
yep. And so anyway, that'll be. I'll just put my latest news, and then from that I'll branch to copies of my old writings and directories and a chronology of my work and various things like that.
So it's kind of a way, and so Tim could, his homepage would be the current things he's working on, and again, links to
Anything you have for
things.
sale, people who want information for you as a speaker, so that yeah.
Oh, fabulous! You can do that too.
Yep. So I can set that up for you for free. I can get what's his name, Sam Epstein to do that in Santa Cruz. But then you would just have you'd have a web page. In fact, you put your web page on your business card, and then anybody would click into it from wherever using Mosaic.
At the moment, I've got my own ConsciousNet, and the idea there that I would upload all of my. See, I'd upload all my writings.
Yep.
Little by little, not all at once.
Well,
Will you have a royalty on that?
That's-
Because that's what we should have that working pretty soon.
No, you're the one that.
Pretty soon, we hope to have that with actual cash payments. So I'll keep, but at the same time, if you have a web page, that could then point people to ConsciousNet, tell people how to get onto it.
exactly. So it's kind of a summary. So how do people right now to get to ConsciousNet?
Yeah, how do they do it?
Well, right now, you have to get the number, the local number here.
Okay, so if we wanted to sign on to Net from Sausalito. Is there some
All right
address,
now,
some net address?
We'd modem in from Sausalito, dial at area 310.
Oh, directly to,
Yeah.
I get it. Oh, okay.
See, that's what bulletin boards are.
Yeah. Oh, I get it. Of course, it's
Yeah.
BBS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what bulletin board software you're using? First class or?
On ConsciousNet,
Yeah.
it's transitionally, the change here.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're getting we're up leveling.
Mhm. So what I'll do is I'll tell Sam Epstein you might like to have a World Wide Web page,
Okay.
and he'll just call you. I'm sure he'll do it for free.
Good.
And if you could just give them text, and they'll type it in, get it all nice for you, and it'll be an addition. You can give them a picture of yourself, and
There's graphics in it?
yeah, but you have to wait for it. That's the problem. So people like you and me who have slow modems, and yours is especially slow on there. You don't want to send for any graphics, but you can have it there for people who want it. But the web pages, the World Wide Web has caught on so spectacularly in the last 3
yeah.
months.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's
on
amazing.
fire. It's on
Great,
fire.
great,
It's
great.
doubling every month or something.
Yeah.
Yep. So basically, you should have a web page. I'm going to have a web page with Sam, or a bunch of web pages, and I'm going to put my brain scan on there. I had a 48 slice CAT scan taken of my head 2 years ago, and I'm going to put that up. Inside Ted's head. Click. Oops.
Is that the Japanese people do that?
No, I'm going to do it here in Santa Cruz.
Oh yeah. Who did that?
Marin General Hospital. Oh, you mean who
Yeah,
invented the
but-
process?
No, the scan, yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of AI in there. In other words, there's an advanced system for guessing which parts are bone and so on by that signal that comes back. It's very complex and very clever.
That's the next step. There are a lot of brain.
Yep. Are you familiar with this new theory of the brain from this fellow at Scripps Institute? Now, what was his name?
Edelman?
Edelman. Yes, Edelman's theory of the brain. It's
About chaos?
no, not chaos. His theory. It's the theory of maps and re-entry. He already has a Nobel Prize in chemistry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly. The New Yorker just did a profile of him.
New
Didn't they?
Yorker.
Yeah, didn't
I've
they?
got it. Yes, I've,
Yeah, just a
I've
couple weeks ago.
annotated.
Yeah.
About a month ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting stuff.
I've struggled with that.
It's tough.
I've read it 2 or 3 times.
Did you?
Yeah.
I'm just
Well, we have to get the
starting.
books themselves.
Ah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
how would you read the art? Well, you both. How would you kind of summarize? His
Okay.
theory?
Point one. Point
Good,
one.
good,
Brains
good. That's what I
brains are
like.
more different than we suspected because even for identical twins who are clones of the same gene set, the brain is randomly distributed during the prenatal period as various cells distribute themselves randomly throughout the cortex and are glued so that the exact brain pattern of each individual is arbitrarily connected in a stage that is random beyond the genes. So my identical twin would not have the same brain that I do, even though he has the same features.
Okay,
That's
but-
part
but
one.
It's very similar. I mean, IQs of
Yeah,
identical twins
That
and
makes
everything
sense,
are-
doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Oh, yeah. Next point, he then says that there are some 38 map systems already wired in that have to do with vision, hearing, etc. But I'm not really sure what he means by map system.
And touch and
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But finally, he sees the
the all
mer-
important, you know what?
Yeah, yeah.
but the merging of experience and thought, which is a seamless process.
Merging of experience and thought. Okay.
We experience life seamlessly. That we're continuously in the same place until we go to the next place, and our thoughts appear to come in a sensible form, semi-sensible. And this he sees as the process of re-entry, which is for him a throbbing between these separate map circuits, and that's all I know. So I have to see the full book. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's very clever, and this looks like something that has to be really studied.
So how would it affect? I know you like to understand it in terms of just theory, but this theory is not going to change things, is it?
I don't know. You think of the implications later.
Ah.
Now, for example, Einstein's theory, the idea of an atomic bomb, which had actually been in the science fiction stories in the 30s.
Yeah, who did that?
I think Simak, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was Van Vogt.
Yeah.
And they came to John W. Campbell. Campbell published about 1942 a science fiction story.
Clark predicted the satellite thing.
Clark, oh yes. Yeah, he invented it, and they wouldn't give him a patent
Yeah.
because they said it was impossible. Geosynchronous satellites for the relaying of radio signals.
I didn't know that
Arthur
was a
C.
factor in-
Clarke
I did
invented
not know
it.
that was a factor in patents.
What?
That it's not possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They won't accept a perpetual motion patent, for example.
Well, wow.
But
You
it,
have to prove
It's
that
a
it's
government
possible.
bureaucracy, after all.
it is staffed by lawyers, isn't that?
Yeah, that's run by lawyers, right. Basically, a law.
Makes you
Thank you, yeah. That's
can't
the buzzword there. Or the killer word.
Exactly.
gives me claustrophobia when I think about the bureaucracy. Anyway, oh, okay, patent. He patented.
Yeah. So no, he couldn't
I mean, he
patent it.
couldn't
He
patent
applied for the patent, but then when they actually had the rockets, they could do it, and then they did it. But
So
it was
does
too late
he
for me to
only
get a patent.
Oh, I was going to just.
No, he
ask
didn't get a
that.
cent out of it.
I
But you
think
see,
he had
even
it
if you
one.
gotten the patent in 1932, it would have expired in 17 years. So that the first rocket did not hit orbit until 57 with Sputnik. Do you know what Sputnik means literally? What?
The bird.
Okay. Sputnik literally means fellow traveler.
No.
Yeah. S means with, and put means way or path, and nik means person or creature.
Oh, yeah.
So Sputnik is a person or creature that's on the same path with you, which was the term adopted by the Communist Party ideologues to represent the people who would be helpful along the way, fellow travelers. But that's what Sputnik meant.
I like it. I like it. Take the Marxists out of it. We get raw Sputniks.
Yeah, exactly.
We're sure fellow travelers.
Absolutely.
Tripper. We call them trippers, fellow trippers.
Yeah.
Did I tell you my favorite bits of trivia? One is that the national dance of Finland. Do you know what the national dance of Finland is?
What?
The tango.
The real tango?
It's a very drab tango. And do you know who translated Bambi from German to English?
Wait, English.
It was written by Felix Salten, who is, I think, Austrian. And it was translated into English in the 1930s. And then Disney made a movie of it. But who made that translation of the book from the novel of Felix Salten? Whittaker Chambers.
I can never connect with that.
He was a very enigmatic, weird guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Editor of
Didn't he
Time.
hide something in his underwear or in
The pumpkin paper
the
stories.
pumpkin.
He claimed that he was keeping microfilms of atomic secrets or something in the pumpkins, and that Alger Hiss was a...
Yeah.
And that whole thing is resurfaced. They're claiming now that Hiss was guilty, and who the hell knows? Hiss is still alive and saying he wasn't.
It's like every 20 years, new evidence comes out that refutes what the judgment was
Yeah,
20
right.
years earlier. It's like, how do you know what to believe?
Exactly.
Don't
Well-
believe anything. It's all viewpoints.
Well,
So who do you think killed Kennedy?
I don't care to think about it.
Hmm.
He died, and I'm sorry. We miss you, Jack. I would say there are half world population that wanted him dead.
You think that many? That many?
No, I don't.
well,
There were
Several
several
people.
100 million people that wanted him dead.
Hmm.
but I guess
I remember watching that, thinking, and I was stunned. And LBJ was being sworn in, and you think of the oil and the Texas and the South and that. And the communists didn't like him. Shit, he stood up against Khrushchev.
So, what do you think about the whole OJ Simpson thing? Do you think he's guilty?
I can't believe that shit. He's guilty of between 9 and 12 undisputable beating up of his wife,
Yeah.
including one battery with a baseball bat of
Oh,
baseball
I
bat?
didn't hear about
her,
that.
of her car.
Oh, shit.
And two
nine-
arrests where there were this and that. He has
Yeah.
a long track
Exactly.
record of physical abuse of his wife. Not to
Exactly.
mention stalking her and coming into following her around to restaurants and
Yeah.
sitting in tables across.
Yeah,
Now that's
That's
killing her is
circumstantial.
nothing. Yeah, killing is not. I mean, so.
But still.
And then if you have to invent a theory that all these paranoid, who did kill her?
Oh, good question. Why would anyone else want to?
Yeah.
How funny, in all of this, I haven't really thought too much about that. Who would be the other killer
Well,
if OJ didn't do it?
Well, the whole problem of the defense is to find one juror who will say no.
But
And
what
they're
that-
doing a
What
hell
that
of a
brings is wonderful. When it's all over, we're all going to realize that the lawyer system's fucked,
Isn't
and the
it?
jury system's fucked, and the whole so-called
The whole
justice
justice
system.
system.
There are like 100, there are 1 million wife killers every 10 years who just are shipped off or not. And how come OJ has a $10 million defense? I mean, because he's rich.
Exactly.
And you say he's going to bring the whole. There's no justice here.
There's no
And
justice.
When I read these articles about the psychology of selecting.
Oh, that just makes me so angry.
What about justice here? What about
Exactly.
truth?
What about truth? Oh, I get so
And now they're proving that the
angry.
coroner was an eccentric, because once someone came in.
The
and
coroner
he's-
who did OJ's wife's body?
Yeah. So some policeman came in and he was doing an autopsy on a suicide, and what are you doing? He took the rope and put it around. He said, "Oh, I'm with my friend." See, and therefore that means that OJ's not guilty.
LA gets some weird coroners.
Well, they find everyone has weird things. What does it do with the fact that OJ's? They're gonna.
Man.
You'll find some human flaw. Yeah, two of the cops were racist, so.
Yeah,
so
big news.
Big
yeah,
news.
exactly. And tampering with the car, one of the
Here's the
What does it say?
it says your self-unknown destination, bright scene,
Wait.
bright sense.
Would you help us out here, dear?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
You read the script and I'll say it, okay?
Here we are.
Okay.
You get the picture?
Yes.
You read it, okay, what's that?
Mm-hmm.
Unknown?
Well, it begins with yourself,
Yourself.
bright sense,
Uh-huh.
unknown destination.
Unknown destination.
Yes.
Then we turn around
Yeah.
and we have unknown yourself, liberality.
Yeah.
I saw a tincture of joy in our face.
Yeah.
And then under that, we are hopeful. We are hopeful that we will attain our object, unknown destination.
Yes, we are. Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have done it.
Great.
Ain't it great?
Yes.
Yes, indeed. Okay, gotta pee.
She's wonderful.
She's absolutely wonderful.
He's wonderful.
It's true.
It's true.
It's true.
We're wonderful.
You're wonderful.
Boy, it's the truth.
Such a great connection.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you,
To be
Tim.
continued.
This was a wonderful weekend.
Yeah, I love you.
This is a wonderful weekend.
To be continued.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
We'll be in touch.
Bye.